there's no evidence Hans cheated the Sinquefield Cup. There's a lot of evidence he cheated on chess.com when he got caught and admitted it, and possibly more. But again, it's just two separate things. Cheating in real life and cheating online is different. And 20-25% of GMs and IMs have cheated online. That's my guess. Could be more, could be less, but I'm guessing 20-25%. So if you're, but however, if you ask me what percentage of these people cheated in real life, it's much lower. It's less than 1%. It's hard to cheat in real life. And also, if you cheat in real life and you get caught, you're done. If you cheat on chess.com, basically nothing happens. Nothing. They let you play on chess.com and shake their finger at you. And then if chess.com decides to ban you forever, then you play on Lichess. And if Lichess bans you forever, you go to ICC or Chess24. Cheating online is like nothing to a lot of people. They think everybody's cheating, so it's okay. You have to explain that it's not, but that's different. But somehow, cheating in real life, that's taboo. Everybody knows that's wrong and you shouldn't do that. And mainly people that are doing it are playing in the World Open. They're rated 1,300. They're playing 2,000 strength and they're under 1,400 section, and they're trying to win $5,000. There's a lot of cheating in the World Open, because if you cheat a little bit in the World Open, you could use an old engine that's not very good. Okay, you could use Fritz 6 and cheat in the under 1,400 section, and you're not playing engine moves. You're playing engine moves from 20 years ago. And guess what? You're going to win the under 1,400 section. So it's easier to cheat at the lower levels because you can just do anything and cheat and win. At the higher levels, if you're 26, 27, 2,800, cheating basically costs you your career. And cheating online doesn't. So there's a lot more cheating online than in real life. There's no evidence from Hans's game with Magnus that Hans cheated in that game. The evidence that's being used is Hans is a cheater, so he cheated in that game. That's not... It's possible. It's more likely Hans cheated than somebody else. If you said who cheated, Hans or Caruana, and I had to pick one, I'm picking Hans. In fact, 90% of grandmasters, if you said Hans or that guy, I'm picking Hans. Sorry. But I don't see evidence he cheated in the Sinquefield Cup. I don't. Sorry. And I don't see evidence he cheated in Miami. He lost every match. He's the worst cheater ever. He played a tournament of 9 matches in Miami, and he went 0 out of 9. That's a terrible cheater. You got to cheat better than that. So I don't see evidence he cheated in the games Magnus says he cheated in. I think Magnus just said he's a cheater. And he beat me. I don't like that. Because maybe he cheated against me, which is true. Maybe he did. So, and because of that, because maybe he cheated, Magnus is going to ruin his life. Greg Shahade thinks Hans is fine. Hans played in these tournaments. Hans is playing in the U.S. Championship. And then we're going to find out after the U.S. Championship if Hans gets to play any tournaments after that, or the organizers and sponsors don't want that. Well, I don't know. We're going to find out. If between October 15th and the next 6 months, Hans disappears and gets no invitations, then we know. If we see Hans playing in strong tournaments, then, then there's that, etc. And the argument that Hans isn't as good as Magnus, so if Hans wins with black, he's cheating, that's not an argument. That's just silliness. Hans went 0-9 in matches in rapid chess. He didn't lose 9 games in a row. He actually beat Magnus in Miami. He beat him the first game, then he lost the next 3. It was a match score where you play 4 games. A lot of the information on the internet, which says Hans played 100% in all these games, that's all nonsense. None of that happened. So when you read person A said Hans played 100% in 10 games and Magnus played 100% in 1 game, none of that is true. But you read it, so you're like, well, I guess Hans cheated. And none of it's true. It's not scientific. It's not fact-based. The research is done by people who don't know anything about chess or how chess works. The people who do know how chess works and how computers work and how cheating works say Hans isn't cheating. The people in the know. And what chess.com I trust. If chess.com says we've analyzed all of Hans's games in the last 2 years over the board and we conclude he was cheating, then I believe chess.com because they spend millions of dollars on cheat detection. And they have a team of people and they have a system. They're not like Naroditsky and Hikaru looking at a game and going, I don't know if I would play that move. I guess he's a cheater. That's not what they do. Okay, Naroditsky and Hikaru and the other GMs don't understand cheat detection. They should, because some of them had it explained to them by chess.com, but they don't care. They think they're above that. Hikaru's like, I will decide who cheated. I'm going to look at the games with an engine, and I'm going to make money on content, and I'm going to tell you who cheated. And you have to take that with a grain of salt, because that means nothing. And the other people who are doing cheat detection, people I've never heard of, and they're saying Hans played 100% every game, that's nonsense. That didn't happen. Sorry. It didn't happen. And did Hans cheat over the board in the last 2 years? Maybe. Is that relevant to his game with Magnus? Not to me. It is to you guys. You guys are like, Hans cheated before, and Magnus said he cheated against him, so I believe Magnus. I mean, Magnus might be right, but he might not be right. And basically by maybe being right and maybe not being right, the goal is to make sure Hans never plays chess again. Which, he's a kid. Even though he's 19, he's still a kid. You're 19. What'd you do when you were 19? You pled the fifth. That's what you did. So, I'm not a Hans fan personally. He's not my favorite person. Okay? If I have to pick who I like more, it's Magnus. I like Magnus more. I like Magnus a lot more. If I have to have dinner with one of them, it's Magnus. Now, he wouldn't show up, but that's okay. I don't mind eating by myself. So, as a personal thing, I don't really like Hans, and I like Magnus. But in this situation, Magnus went too far. He's ending the guy's chess career because the guy beat him. If Magnus won that game, this wouldn't be a discussion. If Rapport could have gotten into the country, this wouldn't be happening. A lot of things had to happen. A lot of things had to happen for this situation to occur, and they all happened. And what's weird is that Magnus played in 2 other tournaments with Hans right before St. and right after, and doesn't think that Hans cheated in those events. Or maybe he does and didn't say so. By the way, if he cheated in Miami, that's just terrible. He lost every match and terrible. You're telling me he cheated in Miami and he lost all 9 matches? God damn. Okay. And the matches weren't 4-0 or 3-0. They were all 3-1 and 2.5, 1.5. He's worse than them, so he's going to lose. And obviously, in a situation where it's one game, anybody can beat anybody. So Hans beating Magnus doesn't mean anything. If Hans played a 10-game match with Magnus and Hans won the match and it was a slow tournament, then I'll be the first one to come on and say Hans probably cheated. I don't see Hans beating Magnus in a 10-game match. But if you told me Hans beat Magnus 1 game, that means nothing. I beat Mamedyarov with black. The difference between me and Mamedyarov is much greater than Hans and Carlsen. Much greater. Okay, if I play Mamedyarov 50 games of the time control we were playing, and I have black in all 50, I'd probably win 2. And I'd probably lose 40. And we'd have 8 draws if I did the math right. But I won. Sorry. And I didn't play well that game. The engine said I played bad that game because that's how I play. I play badly. And you could argue Mamedyarov was off his game. He was having a bad week. However, 1 hour after I beat Mamedyarov, he beat Wesley So. So it wasn't like Mamedyarov was like deathly ill. But in 1 game, anybody can beat anybody. I could beat Magnus 2 in 1 game. I play Magnus 50 games, I'm going to get like 2, and he'll get 48. But I might win 1 game. It could happen. So we don't know if he cheated in the Singfield Cup. I don't think he did. And the other Super GMs don't think he did either. And that's basically that's the thing in the situation that matters. Because before that happened, Magnus didn't do or say anything which indicated Hans was a cheater. after he lost, then it was all over. So that's the game I'm concerned about. And you're telling me, here's what you have to think in your own mind. I'm telling you how to think now. Imagine in your own mind, you don't think Hans cheated against him in the Sinquefield Cup. Just imagine you think that. Okay? In that case, just in that case, do you think Magnus is being reasonable? And some of you is like, yes. Some of you are like, no, Hans probably didn't cheat in the Sinquefield Cup, but that doesn't matter because Hans cheated before. And that's what Magnus is mad about. That's not what Magnus is mad about. Magnus lost with white to Hans. He doesn't think he should lose with white to Hans. I agree. And I think Magnus played worse that game because he thought Hans might be cheating. And that's not unreasonable. Thinking Hans might be cheating is reasonable. But saying he's cheating when you don't know, that's less reasonable. Ending his chess career, that's also less reasonable. Now, if he's cheating and it's 100% he's cheating, then everything's fine. But I don't see that. If you guys see that, that's fine. You can believe that Hans has been cheating his whole life. Hans always cheats. It's a good thing Magnus spoke up. But if you think Hans did not cheat in the Sinquefield Cup, and I think most GMs agree with me, then Magnus shouldn't be ruining his life. Mad Hatter PNG. You can't ruin people's life because they're cheating on chess.com, because then chess.com wouldn't have any members. Chess.com needs people to pay for memberships. That's why they don't throw people out who cheat forever. They let you confess, then they let you back with another account. Because a lot of people cheat. And those people don't cheat in the real life. Some of them do, but it's a very low percentage. For every 1,000 people who cheat online, one person's cheating in real life. That's my guess. I'm guessing. So when somebody cheats online, that basically means nothing as far as cheating in real life. It means you don't have to like the guy.